Hey guys, and welcome back to the I'm Talking podcast. I'm your host, Ailani, and if you are new here, welcome. Thank you for choosing to listen. And if you are a returning listener, then thank you for staying and thank you for coming back. Now, I know you guys can already tell by the title, we are going to talk about normalizing loneliness because this is very dear to me, very important to me. Yes, this topic is very important to me, so I kind of wanted to take some time to talk about it. Anyway, yeah, I wanted to make this a little bit more of a comfy episode, so for that, I am recording in my bed. I just get tired sometimes to sit at the desk and, sit in the room and record, so I'm recording from my bed today because, why not? Like, if anybody can do it, I can do it too. So, with that being said, we are in for a treat with today's episode. I do want to say last week, I know I did not record an episode for last week. And the reason I did not is because I have something in the works for you guys. And it is super exciting. I cannot wait to share the news. I'm hoping that at the beginning of October, I can finally share with you what I've been creating, but I spent all last week dealing with that. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to put out an episode, but it's okay. We're back again for this week, and it is very, very exciting. Um, but back to normalizing loneliness. I've always had a misconception of what being lonely meant. Like, I always thought that being lonely was not what. Oh my god. I'm already jumbling my words. Um, I always thought that it meant like a bad thing. And, for some people, it still might be like there might be a negative connotation. My brain is a little bit jumbled today. I have a severe migraine. And I'm also trying to record because this is literally the only time that I will have to record. So, sorry guys, but also I'm not editing it. It's going to be a real raw episode today. Because I want to leave all. I want to leave it in all. But again, like, some people might think of being lonely as a bad thing. And I've always thought that. But in the recent years, I've learned that being lonely is sometimes okay. And being alone is okay. And I know some of you might be like, oh, well, you live with your boyfriend, so like, how are you alone and how are you lonely? And I'll get into that in the later episode. But it is okay to feel like lonely sometimes, and it is okay to be alone, because at the end of the day, you need to be alone sometimes. But before we fully jump into the episode, I want to talk about some of my favorites because I do have three. So my first one is banana bread. Oh my goodness. One of my favorite YouTubers, Lindsay Ray. If you guys don't watch her, you need to watch her. She has shared multiple times like her recipe for her banana bread. I don't know if any in her recent videos if she's made banana bread, but I've literally been watching her since like 2019. And she had, like, in her older videos, like, you guys might have to scroll through to find when she used to make banana bread. But I made one over the weekend, and it was literally delicious. Like, I added chocolate chips on it, and I'm a chocolate girl, so I know some people like to add nuts or whatever the case may be. I wanted chocolate chips because you can't have, like, a dessert without chocolate chips. But it came out like the perfect amount of like sweetness. Like, it's not too sweet where I can have it as like a breakfast treat if I wanted to, but I can also have it for dessert, or I can have it for like a little midday snack. Like, it's literally the perfect amount of like sweet. Um, so I've been loving that. Also, I am in the works of creating a YouTube channel as well. I have some shorts on there. If you go on my Instagram, or if you follow me on TikTok. And I will probably link it in my bio, but I am going to start a YouTube channel. I don't know if I'm going to do like daily vlogs. Leave some comments if you want to see vlogs or if you want to see like cooking videos, because I do love to make like cooking videos. So let me know if you want to see that, or let me know just what you guys want to see. I'm going to give it a try because, like I said in my previous episode, oh no, I don't think I ever mentioned it. A couple of you guys actually said that you would want to see videos of me because the way I describe certain things, like you guys just want to see what's going on. So I don't know if I'm going to move the podcast to a video podcast. I think I just want to keep it solely as just like a regular talk, like talking podcast, just like I'm talking to you guys, as opposed to having it on video. But I do want to start to make YouTube videos. So you guys can follow me. I do have a couple of little like shorts, YouTube shorts, I guess they call them, that are kind of like TikTok videos, the same thing. I have them already on there and you guys can check them out. I'll leave the link in the description of the episode. But yeah, back to who my favorites, because I just, rambled a little bit. My second favorite is American Horror Story, and I don't know what the name of this season is called, but it's season 10, and it's about a family that moves to Provincetown or Provincetown. I can't remember the name of it, but somewhere in Massachusetts. And like the dad has writer's block, so he's going there to try to like find some creative something. The mom is, I think, an interior designer, so she's trying to redo the house that they're going to stay in. And then like the daughter plays violin, I believe. So, they all have like their own little gifts, but without spilling it, without giving too much away, it is really good. Like, a couple of the episodes are kind of a little bit repetitive. So I'm not going to lie, like I have been doing some work while watching the episodes, but it's really good. And I took a break from watching American Horror Story because I don't remember what the last season was, season 9, but I didn't watch that. I think the last one I watched was like half of 1984. I think that was the one it's called. I don't remember. And I didn't even like fully watch it. I maybe watched like 2 or 3 episodes and then I stopped watching it. But season 10, I love it. The last thing is we need to talk about the Met Gala looks, specifically Billy's look. Like her dress, she killed it. I'm sorry. That was a beautiful, like it reminded me of being a princess in a castle, but she was still trying to give 1950s Hollywood glam, especially with like the corset and like the style of her hair. It was literally stunning. And I'm such a huge Billy fan. Like I feel like I'm totally fangirling right now, but her dress was stunning. Um Kim's, I'm sorry, some people were saying like, yeah, Kim's fit, like she did so well, but I don't know. Like I think that it's awesome that she didn't even show an inch of her body and people were still like going crazy over it. Like that is amazing. But I wasn't really feeling it. Another look that I liked, but it wasn't my favorite, was Yara Shahidi. She looked great. But I'm sorry, Billy's dress, her accessory, like the rings on her fingers, her everything, her hair, literally everything I loved. Yeah, those are my 3 favorites of the week. Let me know what your favorites are. I think some of you guys said that you tried the Pilates class app that I recommended, which is so exciting. I'm glad that you guys are loving it. I have been loving it. I've also been trying to do more like strength training and like actually going to the gym. But I will do like my Pilates app if I am at home and I try to do a workout, but I've also been trying to go to the gym more because I feel like sometimes when I try to do an at-home workout and I'm not really feeling in the mood for it, I will typically not put my full effort into it. Whereas if I go to the gym and I'm already at the gym, then I have that like momentum and I want to keep doing more. Like I literally spent almost an hour in the gym the other day. So that was great. But yeah, let me know some of your faves. Now let's jump back into the episode. So the reason I want to talk about this is because one of the little girls that I see consistently, she is turning 5 years old, and she inspires me every day. First of all, like she's such a great little kid. Hopefully when I have children, my daughter comes out similar to her because she's just such, like, she has such a good heart. When I think of kids, and even when I ask her, I'm like, I don't want to give her name out, but I'm like, hey, what do you want to do when you get older? Or like, what makes you happy? And she's like, I love helping people. And, I love this and I love that. But what she tells to me all the time when I go over is, Miss Lonnie, did you fill your bucket today? Did somebody else fill your bucket today? Or what filled your bucket today? And then she'll say, well, so and so filled my bucket, and this is what they did to fill my bucket, or this is how my bucket was filled today. Or, like, if I tell her, no, nobody filled my bucket today, she's like, okay, well, how can I fill your bucket? And I'm like, this little girl's 4 years old. Like, she's not even 5 yet. She's gonna be 5 in like 2 weeks. But she's been asking me this and telling me this for years. And she, almost every day that I go to see her, and I don't see her every day, but every time that I go see her, she's like, Miss Ani, is your bucket filled? Can I fill your bucket? Like, literally every single time. And I just think it's amazing that, one, kids are, well, yes, every kid. I was about to make it into specifics, but I'm not. Kids are so genuine in their emotions, which is literally amazing. But she always reminds me to take a step back and be like, okay, well, what filled my bucket? So that's kind of what I want to talk about today. What filled my bucket? Or how can you fill your bucket? Because I don't really want to talk about necessarily the things that fill my bucket, but what fills your bucket? How can you fill your bucket? And how that correlates to being alone. So, being alone is okay because you need that time to figure out what you want. And I know, like, a couple of people used to tell me this, where they used to be like, don't find a relationship, um, don't, not necessarily don't, but like, make sure you're always having your time to yourself and don't dedicate all your time to one person or like a couple different people. If you have a friendship, just make sure you don't lose yourself. And I didn't really kind of like understand any of that until I moved. And like I've said before, I have very few friends and zero friends down here. I have a couple friends back in New York, and I've made like maybe one or two friends down here, but I wouldn't even call them like friends. I would call them more like acquaintances. I don't really know. Um, but yeah, I barely have friends. And especially when I moved down here, I felt so isolated. I'm over here messing up all my words. I felt so isolated and I felt so alone. Which is interesting because, like, I was living with my boyfriend and he has family down here and they're always super nice. But I'm like, I don't have any of my family down here. Like, I don't have any of my friends. There are certain things that I enjoy doing that, he necessarily doesn't enjoy or his family doesn't enjoy. And I'm like, I want people to do these fun things with me, but I never did. Like, I think the first couple months I was down here, like, I wanted to do a couple fun things and I just didn't do them. And then like months went on, and I'm still like not doing these things that I enjoyed doing. And I'm like, yo, I can't continue waiting for people to come into my life, or like if I don't find people, like it's okay. I need to start doing these things on my own. So that's exactly what I did. The fun things that I wanted to do, I just did them on my own. Like if I wanted to go for a run, or if I wanted to go to the mall or go to the bookstore, and he does a majority of those things with me, but I'm just giving examples. Or like a great example is strawberry picking. I have never gone strawberry picking, and there's a beautiful farm that you can go to around here that you can pick fresh strawberries. And I've never, like I said, I've never done that, but he's really like not into that. Like I can get him to go apple picking. I don't know, like it's not like he doesn't like them, but like that's just one of the things. Like he's like, I don't really want to go strawberry picking. I'm like, okay, whatever, that's fine. And unfortunately, I hadn't found out about it until COVID. And then with COVID, like they weren't allowing us to do it. But I'm excited to do it next year because I really want to go and give it a try. But I'm like, those are the things that like I would have friends to do. I just don't, which is totally, totally okay. But in that time that I realized like it is okay to be alone and it's okay to do things on my own, I was one, understanding that I'm good enough by myself. Like, I am good enough for me. I don't need anybody else in my life. Despite living with my boyfriend and having a boyfriend, I don't ever want to tell my kids, or I don't want to ever tell people, well, I lost myself and I did everything that he wanted to do. And you shouldn't really be in a relationship if that's how you feel. So, one, I understood that I was good enough. Two, and this one is still a tough one and I'm still trying to learn it, but yeah, trying new things, like if they make you a little bit uncomfortable, then you definitely, should try it, because it's always good to get a little bit uncomfortable. But for me, sometimes, like, I don't know, one thing that I just will not try is bungee jumping. Like those videos where people put the thing on their feet and then they jump over the bridge, and like that thing, no. Like I literally feel my heart now stopping. So that is something that I will never try. But try new things that you will feel comfortable with, that will kind of get you a little bit out of your comfort zone. But if, again, like if you don't feel safe or you don't feel comfortable fully in those things, then I don't know, maybe don't try them. But always try new things. That is very important, especially for being alone, especially for when you're lonely, because you can figure out what makes you happy. Number 5, cherish every interaction. And what I mean by this is you need to just be grateful for everyone that comes in your life, whether it's good, whether it's bad. One day I was having a terrible day. And this was a while back. This is not even like in 2021. Like this was years back. And I was working at a job instead of doing what I do now, and I was just having literally a terrible day. And I decided to go to Target because Target was across the street from where I was working, and of course there's a Starbucks in the Target, and I was like, you know what, let me get something to drink. And I'm not usually a Starbucks drinker. I prefer Dunkin', but to be honest, I don't even like to go to Dunkin' either. Like if I'm running and I need something quick, I might go to Dunkin'. And I don't even get like coffee or anything. I'll just get like their refreshers, or like a juice, like a tea, because I don't drink coffee that much anymore. Well, rarely. I haven't drank coffee in almost 2 months now. Only matcha. I am a matcha girl, so I've been drinking a lot of matcha, but I like to make it at home. Like, I don't like the Starbucks matcha. The Dunkin' Donuts matcha tastes like crap. I don't like that. I will typically make it at home. which is good. But if I do want to get a coffee, or if I do want to get a matcha or just get like a drink outside, I'll typically go to like local coffee shops where I can get that stuff from. Um, but anyway, I went to Starbucks and there were these girls, they were young, and they were kind of like playing around, and they could see that I didn't know what to order because I never know what to order when I go to Starbucks. I don't even know what the damn sizes are. I'm like, just give me the smallest one of whatever it is I'm ordering, just in case I don't like it. I won't be upset. So I guess you can tell on my face that I was just not having a good day, and they were like, hey, before you order, we just created our own little like drink type thing, and it's not on the menu or anything. We were just kind of like playing around. Do you want to try it? They were like, we're not going to charge you for it. It'll strictly be kind of like an experimental thing. If you don't like it, you can order something else, but we think it's really good. So I got a free drink that actually turned out to be delicious and great customer service, and that filled my bucket. Like, I was having such a bad day, and these two little girls working in the Starbucks gave me a free drink, and they were so nice, and I was like, okay, my day got a little bit better. So that's what I mean by, cherishing every interaction. This is so important to being lonely and being alone. When you are on your phone, when you are scrolling through Instagram, when you are scrolling through TikTok, when you are scrolling through whatever social media, or you're just on your phone in general, you will feel more lonely than before. Like, you seeing everybody else with their friends, everybody else is doing all these fun things, and people forget that Instagram and Twitter and all these other places, especially Instagram, people just show what they want to show. People sometimes don't show the real raw, even on YouTube. YouTube, I know, is getting very big right now. People show what they want to show. So you have to remember that, because I know a couple people are where they're like, yeah, I wish this or I wish that. And I'm like, those people have other things that they do in their life besides them filming for 30 minutes. Like, a 30-minute video, a 15-minute video, a 20-minute video is not even half of their day of what they did. Or like that one picture on Instagram or that one story where they're out with their friend, like, that's not even a half of the things that they do during the day. And it just makes you a little more down. Like, it just makes you feel more down when you're sitting on your phone scrolling. The next thing that I like to do, or that I recommend you do, is to volunteer your time or to connect with your community. I've always told him, like, if I, like, I'm getting sick again and I'm trying to record and I literally feel like I'm about to pass out. This is terrible. Um, anyway, I always tell him that, like, I want to find a good nonprofit organization that I can go and volunteer. Uh, as a family, we used to, like, always go and give the little cans and give some clothes away and some toys, and we always were trying to help as much as we could. But I love giving back to the community and like connecting with the community. I came across a book club on Instagram, but it's like through Facebook or something. And I don't even know any of these people. I think one person might live in India. I don't even know any of them. Like, I didn't know them before, but we all kind of like bond through reading these books, and we talk about the books, and it's so cool. And I never would have even known about this, or in my younger ages, I probably wouldn't even have given it a try. I would have been like, that seems a little, I don't know. But, it's good to have something that I enjoy doing that I can relate to others, but I don't ever leave my home, or I don't ever leave my state, or I don't ever leave, like, I'm doing that solely through my phone or my iPad or my computer, my laptop, whatever. But that's a good way to kind of appreciate your time too, because you're choosing your own time. So, like, being alone and being lonely, you're choosing what you're giving your time to, where your energy is going. And my last thing is to bring yourself back to your childhood. Like I spoke about earlier with the little girl that I see, she's just so genuine, and she's literally happy like every day. And someday she will tell me, like, she will never tell me she's not happy, but she will say, "Oh, Miss Ani, I'm feeling a little tired," or "I'm just not feeling it today. Like, I don't want to learn. Can we just read some books, or, do some arts and crafts? Like, I really don't want to do any studies." Because that's what we call them. We call them studies. And we will, and that's okay. She is so genuine, and she just has fun. Like, she's an only child, and she makes fun for herself. Her parents are a little bit older. Um, what is this? Yeah, her parents are a little bit older, and sometimes they don't really have the patience to deal with her. And she is an only child, and she has friends, but for the most part, she plays by herself, and she does a really good job. Her imagination is literally, I don't know, like, it's through the roof, because she can sit there, talk to herself, play this whole game, and it, like, I'm so amazed all the time by how she acts. But that's what I mean by, like, bring yourself back to your childhood. You know, when you're a kid, and when I was a kid, I did whatever I wanted to do so that I could have fun and be happy and experience fun things, and all these things. And I think as we get older, we tend to forget that we have bills to pay, we have jobs to go to, we have meetings to attend, we have all these other responsibilities that we forget what makes us happy sometimes. And we forget to have fun. And I think that is very, very important, that we bring ourselves back to being a kid and remembering what it is to have fun. And, sometimes things might change, but it is okay to do what you want to do for fun. Those are a few reasons why it is okay to be alone. Those are a few things that you guys can do if you are feeling like you are alone and you're lonely, but you want to get out there. And I don't mean get out there and, like, go meet people or anything like that. I just mean get out there and, like, get out your own, like, mental thoughts, because it is okay to be alone, like I said before. Um, and why is it good to be alone? Like, some people will say, well, I really want this, or I really want that, and I want some more friends, and I want a spouse or significant other, and it's great. Like I said, I live with my boyfriend. We've been living with each other for the past 4 years, but also I have carved out time to figure out what makes me happy, to figure out how to love myself, to figure out what things are fun for me at 22 versus 18, um and all of that. And you can still do that with a partner, with a spouse, with a best friend. You can still have that alone time, and you can still want to be alone. Like, I tell him all the time, I'm like, I just need some space. And especially, like, in the weekend, like, our days are kind of sometimes off on when I'm off versus when he's off. But typically, weekends, we will spend the days together if I'm not trying to, like, do work, or if I'm not working. And he likes to watch a lot of sports. Like right now that football starting, he's literally like glued to football. So if he's cooking, football will be on the TV. If I'm watching TV, football will be on his iPad. And if he's playing the game, football will be on his iPad or football will be on the TV while he's playing his game. And that's okay. Like, those are things that he enjoys. But I will literally tell him, like, I'm going to go for like a walk, or I'm going to go to do this activity, or I might go to the room and, watch a movie by myself. And that is totally okay for you to do. And I think sometimes people forget, especially being young, being young and being in a relationship. I feel like people think that we're always up each other's ass. And that's not the case. And you really shouldn't be. You should be able to have that alone time with yourself, um, and not be like criticized for it, not be judged for it, and not feel guilty. And you would think that I was freaking smoker with these lungs right now, that I'm literally struggling to breathe. But like I was trying to say before, why is it good to be alone? Being alone will make your interest a priority. This is very important because if you don't give yourself alone time to find what makes you happy, like I've said before, you are not going to prioritize anything that you want to do. It boosts your creativity. Again, you can be creative with other people, but if you are feeling lonely, or if you live alone, or if you live with your family or whatever, but you still feel that sense of loneliness, try being creative. 9 times out of 10, if you get yourself into that zone while you're feeling lonely or while you're being alone, I promise you, if you start to try to like draw a picture, or if you want to sing at the top of your lungs, it'll make you feel better. It'll help you, and it'll improve your relationship with others. Being alone and understanding what, again, makes you happy when you are alone, and not even what makes you happy, but when you have that loneliness, when you are alone, you can learn to set boundaries for yourself, set boundaries with other people. There's just so many things that you can learn with having time by yourself that you typically wouldn't if you are not prioritizing your time and carving out time for yourself. And even if you do live alone, like I don't live alone, so I need to carve that time out for myself. But if you do live alone, doing things for yourself and learning yourself while you have that alone time will in turn create better relationships with others, because then you will have an expectation of how you want others to treat you, which I think is very, very, very important. And a couple things that I think you guys can do if you want to on your alone time, or when you have your alone time, is to visit a museum. I love doing that. There aren't many museums around me, but there's like different exhibits, like different art exhibits, which is fun. And I'm not a very big like art type of person. Like, I can't go to a painting and be like, yeah, that was painted by so and so, whatever. But it's just fun, it's just something different. I like to go to coffee shops. You guys can try that. Go to the movies by yourself. I'm still not brave enough to do this one, but I will watch movies by myself. But going to the movies, and I don't think I have been to a movie theater in over 2 years. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think the first movie I will go to see in the movie theater will probably be Venom coming out. And if I decide not to go to watch Venom, then it'll probably be, I don't know. Like I said, I don't typically feel comfortable going to movie theater by myself because I like to watch movies at night and I don't want to go out at night by myself. That's a whole other topic and a whole other episode that I want to discuss. Kind of like my paranoia slash uncomfortableness with like the nighttime and going out. But anyway, that's for another day. Go to the movies, go for a hike, go to coffee shops, find a YouTube video on a painting and try to recreate it, or a drawing and try to recreate it. Have a bath. Go outside, take pictures by yourself. Like, there's so many different things that you guys can do in being alone and enjoying your alone time that will make you feel better. And it is totally okay. Like I said, it's totally okay. And before I had my boyfriend, I was doing things, that were alone, that when I was alone, and I enjoyed them. Like, I would take myself to the beach and sit on the beach and watch the sunset. And typically, you would do that with somebody that you like, a friend or your partner, your significant other, whatever. Typically, you would do that with somebody. But I would make it like a weekly routine, I guess, where like every week I would go to the beach by my house and I would sit, and sometimes I would journal, sometimes I would just sit and literally watch the water, watch the sun go down or watch the sun come up or whatever the case may be. Like, I generally enjoyed that. And that was my alone time. And in that, I would, just sit with my thoughts and sit with whatever it is that was in my brain, in my mind. And it is okay. I hope you guys take away from this episode that it is totally okay to be alone. And I don't want you guys to think, well, you have a boyfriend, so technically you're not really alone. And I understand that. Like, I am living with somebody, so technically I am not alone. Um, but I do like to have my alone time, and I do sometimes still feel a little bit of loneliness because I don't have friends. I don't have friends in the state that I live. Like, I sometimes feel alone, and sometimes I do feel lonely, even though I am with somebody that I will probably be with for the rest of my life. Sometimes I do have those moments, and it is okay to have those moments. Like, you can still feel that way. You can have friends in your state. You can live in a house with your family and you can still feel alone, and that is okay. But I wanted to give you guys some tips on what you can do if you're feeling alone. Always be creative, and the reason why it is good to sometimes be alone, and the feelings, how you need to learn how to understand that you're good enough to value your own opinion. Like, those things all need to be kind of taken into account when it comes to being alone, because that's very, very important. I think it's especially important in terms of relationships with others. Like, if I didn't learn how to be alone and how to carve out alone time for myself and how to be okay with being lonely and not having any friends in the state that I live and not being able to like do some fun stuff, then I would be missing out on a lot of things that I wanted to do. And that sucks. Like, I am in my early 20s. I want to be living my life. I don't want to be looking at people's Instagram posts and looking through stories and like, oh, they have their friend, like they went on a girls' trip, or, you know, just stupid little things that I would be missing out on if I just didn't understand and didn't take the time out to learn that it was okay to be lonely and be alone and how to enjoy my alone time. So, with that said, I hope you guys liked this episode. I was a little bit, here we go, jumbling my words. I was a little bit all over the place with what I was trying to say. And I'm trying to get better, honestly, but my brain is just It goes everywhere. So even when I have my notes, even when I'm trying to tell you guys and I write down my topics and all of that stuff, my brain will always go from one thing to the other, and then back again. I kind of hope that when I have some guests on my show, well, not yet, when I have some guests, because I am going to have some guests on very soon, that hopefully they will guide me back to my topics while I'm talking, because my brain just goes all over the place. But that's the point of my podcast. It's my podcast where I can talk about whatever I want, and hopefully you guys take away some information from it, and hopefully you guys like it. So that said, thanks so much for listening to another episode with me. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. Thanks for tuning in. And of course, make sure you're following the Instagram, Sit Podcast on Instagram. It's always linked. Make sure you guys are leaving a review on Apple Podcasts. Please, that would mean the world to me. Also, the podcast is available on YouTube, so if you guys just prefer to have the audio off of YouTube, go check that out. And make sure you go check out my new YouTube channel. I don't have any long videos, I should say. I don't have any long videos as of yet. They are in the works. I'm trying to decide what kind of content I actually want to create. But you guys are more than welcome to give me some recommendations, give me some tips. And I think that's it. Oh, yes, and stay on the lookout for my very important news that I'm going to share with you guys sometime at the end of September and the beginning of October. I think it's amazing. I think you guys are going to think it's amazing. So, yeah, stay tuned. Have a great week. Thanks for coming in, and talk to you guys next Tuesday.